Ever notice how some people attract peace, while others attract chaos, no matter how hard they work? Buddhist wisdom says it's not luck, it's not talent. It's the energy you're carrying right now. The energy you hold becomes the energy you attract. In this video, I'm going to share 7 powerful ways to shift that current, to align yourself with the kind of energy that brings peace, clarity, and the right people into your life. These aren't quick fixes. They're ancient practices that quietly rewire how you move through the world. Your thoughts are seeds. Choose them carefully. Every morning, before your feet touch the floor, your mind is already planting. Thoughts rise like weeds or flowers, and most people never stop to notice which ones they're watering. Buddhism teaches that the mind is a garden. What grows there isn't random. It's the result of what you've been feeding. If you constantly think in worry, you'll harvest anxiety. If you dwell in resentment, bitterness will bloom. But if you begin to choose thoughts rooted in gratitude, calm, and possibility, the entire landscape starts to change. This isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about recognizing that your attention is creative. Where you place it consistently becomes your reality. Think about the last time you were convinced something would go wrong. Did that belief shape how you showed up? Did it color your decisions, your tone, your energy? That's not coincidence. That's cause and effect playing out in real time. The Buddha said the mind is everything. What you think, you become. Not someday, right now. Your thoughts don't just reflect your inner state, they construct it. So when negativity rises, and it will, you don't have to wrestle it to the ground. Just notice it, observe it without attachment, then gently redirect. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me grow, or is it keeping me small? You're not trying to control every thought that appears. You're learning to stop giving the destructive ones a place to settle. That shift alone, choosing which thoughts deserve your energy, begins to change the frequency you operate on. And when your inner frequency shifts, what you attract starts to shift with it. Let go of what no longer serves you. There's a kind of weight we carry that has no physical form. Old grudges, past failures, relationships that ended years ago but still occupy space in our minds. We hold on, sometimes without realizing it, thinking that memory equals loyalty or that replaying pain will somehow resolve it. But all it does is keep us tethered to a version of life that no longer exists. Buddhism speaks often of non-attachment, and it's one of the most misunderstood teachings. People think it means not caring. It doesn't. It means loving fully, living deeply, but releasing the grip. It means knowing when to set something down, not because it was meaningless, but because carrying it forward only creates suffering. Picture yourself walking with a backpack full of stones. Each one represents something you're holding on to. A criticism someone made 5 years ago, a mistake you can't forgive yourself for, anger toward a person who's moved on. You wouldn't consciously choose to carry that weight, but emotionally, that's exactly what most of us do, and it's exhausting. What would happen if you put the bag down? Not all at once, maybe, just one stone at a time. You'd feel lighter, you'd move differently. You'd have energy for what's actually in front of you instead of what's behind. Letting go isn't about erasing the past. It's about refusing to let the past define your present. When you release what no longer serves you, you create space. And in that space, something new can enter. New clarity, new peace, new possibilities you couldn't see while you were weighed down. Speak with intention, not reaction. Words aren't neutral. They carry energy, sometimes more than we realize. You've felt it before. Someone says something careless, and it lingers for hours, maybe days. Or someone offers a single kind sentence, and it shifts your entire mood. That's because words don't just communicate, they create. In Buddhist practice, right speech is one of the core principles. It doesn't mean only saying pleasant things. It means speaking truthfully, kindly, and at the right time. It means pausing before you let frustration, ego, or defensiveness speak for you. Most of the harm we cause with our words isn't intentional. It's reactive. Someone triggers us, and we fire back without thinking. The damage is done before we even realize what we've said. But here's the shift. Between stimulus and response, there's a gap. It's brief, but it's there. In that gap lives your power. You can choose to react from old wounds, or you can choose to respond from your higher self. The more you practice pausing, the wider that gap becomes. And in that space, you reclaim your voice. This doesn't just change how others experience you. It changes how you experience yourself. When you speak with intention, you stop creating inner conflict. You stop replaying conversations, wishing you'd said something different. You start to trust your words because they're aligned with your values, not your impulses. And the people around you feel it. They may not know why, but they sense the shift. Your energy becomes calmer, more grounded, and that kind of presence, steady, intentional, clear, naturally attracts the same. Surround yourself with those who lift you. Energy is contagious. Spend an hour with someone who complains endlessly, and you'll leave feeling drained. Spend 10 minutes with someone who radiates calm and encouragement, and you'll feel lighter. This isn't mystical, it's observable. The people you spend time with shape your inner world more than almost anything else. Buddhism teaches that companionship on the path matters deeply. The company you keep either supports your growth or subtly pulls you backward. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Not everyone in your life right now is meant to stay. Some people were companions for a season, a lesson, a chapter. Holding on out of guilt or history doesn't honor the relationship. It just prolongs what's already shifted. This doesn't mean cutting people off coldly. It means being honest about who nourishes your spirit and who depletes it. It means recognizing that you can wish someone well from a distance. You can have compassion for their journey without making it yours to carry. The right people don't drain you. They challenge you, yes. They reflect back truths you need to hear. But they also restore you. After time with them, you feel more like yourself, not less. That's the energy worth protecting. That's the circle worth nurturing. And when you start choosing your relationships with that kind of awareness, something shifts. You stop tolerating what diminishes you. You stop apologizing for needing peace. And slowly, the people who match your frequency begin to appear. Not by force, but by alignment. The next principle takes this even further. Because choosing peace isn't passive. It's one of the most active decisions you'll ever make. Choose peace, even when chaos surrounds you. There's a misconception that peace is something you wait for, that it arrives when circumstances align, when people behave the way you hoped, when the world finally settles. But Buddhist wisdom teaches the opposite. Peace isn't granted by conditions. It's chosen in spite of them. You've probably noticed this. Two people experience the same stressful event. One spirals into frustration, replaying it endlessly. The other acknowledges it, processes it, and moves forward. Same situation. Different internal response. The difference isn't luck, it's practice. Choosing peace doesn't mean pretending everything is fine. It's not spiritual bypassing or toxic positivity. It's the conscious decision to not let external chaos dictate your internal state. It's saying, yes, this is difficult. Yes, this hurts. But I won't let it consume me. Think of a flame in a storm. The wind howls, debris flies, everything around it is in motion. But the flame, if sheltered even slightly, continues to burn. That shelter is your awareness. That flame is your peace. The storm will come. It always does. Your job isn't to stop the storm. It's to protect the flame. This requires something most people aren't willing to give: consistency. You can't choose peace once and expect it to stick. It's a daily practice, sometimes a moment-by-moment one. The coworker who tests your patience, the unexpected bill, the plans that fall apart. Each is an invitation. Will you react from your conditioning, or will you respond from your center? Here's what changes when you make this choice repeatedly. The chaos stops feeling personal. You begin to see it for what it is: temporary, external, passing. And in that seeing, you create distance. Not cold detachment, but wise separation. The situation is happening, but it's not happening to you in the way your ego wants to believe. This is freedom, not the absence of difficulty, but the presence of something unshakable within you. Let go of the need to be right. Few things drain your peace faster than the need to prove yourself, to win the argument, to make sure everyone knows your side of the story. It feels justified in the moment, even necessary. But if you're honest, how often does being right actually bring you peace? Buddhism speaks about the ego's endless hunger. It craves validation, agreement, superiority, and one of its favorite meals is being right. The ego would rather be right than be happy. It will sacrifice relationships, inner calm, even truth itself, just to avoid the discomfort of being wrong, or worse, being misunderstood. But here's the deeper question. What are you really defending? Often it's not the truth. It's your self-image, your reputation, the story you've told yourself about who you are. And when someone challenges that story, even slightly, the ego sounds the alarm. Defend, explain, correct, prove. Yet the wisest people you'll ever meet rarely engage in this battle. They don't need to be right because they're not attached to being seen a certain way. They know their worth isn't up for debate. They understand that some people will misunderstand them, and that's okay. Misunderstanding doesn't diminish truth. Letting go of the need to be right doesn't mean accepting lies or allowing harm. It means choosing which battles actually matter. It means recognizing that not every comment needs a rebuttal. Not every misunderstanding needs correction. Not every opinion requires your response. Silence in these moments isn't weakness, it's mastery. When you stop needing to be right, something remarkable happens. You stop living in reaction. You stop spending emotional energy on arguments that don't serve your growth. You reclaim hours of mental space previously occupied by rehearsing responses, defending positions, replaying conflicts. And the people who matter, the ones truly aligned with you, they already see you clearly. They don't need convincing. The rest? They're going to believe what they want regardless of how well you argue. So why exhaust yourself trying to change minds that aren't open? This is one of the hardest truths to embody, because the need to be right is deeply wired. But every time you choose peace over proving yourself, you weaken that wiring. You teach yourself a new way, and slowly, the need fades. What replaces it is something far more valuable. The quiet confidence of someone who knows who they are, regardless of who's watching. Your energy is sacred. Guard it. Most people give their energy away without realizing it. A conversation that should have lasted 5 minutes drains them for hours. A passing comment replays in their mind all day. Someone else's bad mood becomes theirs. Energy isn't infinite. You wake up with a certain amount, and how you spend it determines the quality of your day, and ultimately, your life. Yet so few people treat it as the precious resource it is. Buddhism teaches that mindfulness isn't just about observing thoughts. It's about observing where your energy flows. What are you feeding with your attention? Who are you allowing into your inner space? What thoughts are you watering? Every time you engage with negativity, whether it's gossip, complaint, or endless scrolling through outrage, you're making a withdrawal. Every time you dwell on what you can't control, you're leaking power. Every time you say yes when your soul is screaming no, you're betraying your own energy. Guarding your energy isn't selfish, it's survival. It's recognizing that you can't pour from an empty cup, and you can't show up as your best self if you're constantly depleted. This means setting boundaries that might make others uncomfortable. It means saying no without over-explaining. It means walking away from conversations that pull you into lower frequencies. It means turning off notifications, limiting exposure to negativity, and being selective about what you consume, mentally, emotionally, digitally. Some people will call this cold. They'll say you've changed. And they're right. You have. You've stopped letting the world drain you dry. You've started honoring the sacredness of your inner life. Your energy is your life force. It's what allows you to love, create, heal, and grow. Treat it accordingly. When you guard your energy, you're not closing yourself off from the world. You're ensuring that when you do show up, you're truly present. Not running on fumes, not half there, but fully alive. And that kind of presence, that's the greatest gift you can offer anyone, including yourself. Life isn't asking you to fight. It's asking you to align. And alignment begins the moment you stop resisting what is. Most suffering doesn't come from circumstances. It comes from the story you tell about them. The narrative you build, the meaning you assign, the way you grip what should flow and push away what's trying to teach you. Buddhism offers a lens that cuts through the noise. It doesn't promise you'll avoid pain, but it shows you how to stop creating unnecessary suffering on top of it. There's a difference. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. And the gap between the two? That's where wisdom lives. Attachment is the root. Let it loosen. You think you're holding on to people, outcomes, identities, but really, they're holding on to you. Attachment wraps itself around your thoughts so subtly you don't notice the grip until it tightens. You say you want freedom, but you're terrified of losing what you cling to. That job title, that relationship, that version of yourself you've spent years defending. Here's the paradox. The tighter you hold, the more you suffer. Not because what you're holding is bad, but because impermanence is the nature of everything. Seasons change, people grow, circumstances shift. And when you're attached, every natural change feels like a threat. You start resisting the flow of life itself. Buddhism doesn't ask you to stop caring. It asks you to care without clinging, to love without possessing, to value without depending. Think of it like holding sand. Cup it gently, and it stays. Squeeze it, and it slips through your fingers. The same applies to everything you cherish. When you loosen your grip, you don't lose connection. You deepen it. Because now it's rooted in presence, not fear. Ask yourself, what am I gripping that's causing me pain? Is it an expectation, a memory, a need for things to stay the same? Notice it. Name it. Then practice letting it sit in your open palm instead of your closed fist. Suffering often hides in comparison. You scroll. You see someone's highlight reel. Suddenly, your life feels smaller. You hear about someone's success. Suddenly, your progress feels insignificant. You look at where others are and forget to honor where you've been. Comparison is a thief. It doesn't just steal joy, it distorts reality. Because you're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's carefully edited final cut. You're measuring your chapter 3 against their chapter 20. And in that unfair comparison, you lose sight of your own path. Buddhism reminds us that every journey is unique. Your timing isn't late. Your pace isn't wrong. The lessons you're learning right now are preparing you for what's ahead, not what's ahead for someone else. When you stop looking sideways, you start moving forward. Real growth happens when you compete with only one person, who you were yesterday. Did you show up with more awareness today? Did you choose peace over reaction? Did you honor your energy, your boundaries, your truth? That's the measuring stick that matters. The rest is distraction. And every moment you spend comparing is a moment you're not building. So the next time you catch yourself spiraling into comparison, pause. Place your hand on your heart. Breathe and whisper, "My journey is mine alone." Let that truth settle in. Let it pull you back to your own lane, your own pace, your own unfolding. Because no one else can walk your path, and you weren't meant to walk theirs. Forgiveness is not for them, it's for you. There's a weight you carry that no one else can see. Old wounds, past betrayals, words that cut deeper than they should have. And you tell yourself you've moved on, but the truth is, you're still holding it, still replaying it, still letting it take up space in your chest. Forgiveness isn't about saying, "What happened was okay." It's not about forgetting or pretending the pain wasn't real. It's about releasing the grip that pain has on your present. Because when you refuse to forgive, you're not punishing the person who hurt you. You're punishing yourself. You're the one replaying the story. You're the one reliving the hurt. You're the one carrying the weight while they've moved on. Buddhism teaches that holding on to anger is like holding a hot coal. You're the one who gets burned. Letting go doesn't mean they win. It means you're free. It means you're no longer defined by what was done to you. It means you're choosing your peace over their debt. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself, and it doesn't happen all at once. It's a practice. Some days you'll feel it. Other days the anger will rise again. That's okay. Just keep choosing release over resentment. Keep choosing freedom over the need to be owed. One breath at a time, one memory at a time, one softening at a time. Eventually, the weight lifts. And when it does, you'll realize how much energy you've been spending on the past, and how much is now available for your future. Your thoughts are not facts, they're weather. You wake up and a thought appears. Today's going to be hard. You didn't choose it, it just arrived. And if you're not careful, you'll believe it. You'll carry it into your morning, your conversations, your entire day. Before you know it, the thought becomes a feeling. The feeling becomes a mood. The mood becomes your reality. But here's what most people miss. Thoughts are weather patterns, not truth. They come and go. They shift and change. And just because a thought is loud doesn't mean it's accurate. Buddhism teaches us to observe thoughts without attaching to them, to notice them like clouds passing through the sky. Some are dark, some are light, some linger, some move quickly. But none of them are the sky itself. You are the sky, vast, unchanging, aware. The thoughts are just passing through. When you realize this, everything shifts. You stop being controlled by every anxious thought, every self-critical voice, every fleeting worry. You start to see them for what they are, temporary visitors, not permanent residents. So the next time a heavy thought appears, don't fight it, don't believe it, just notice it. Say to yourself, that's a thought. It's not me, it's not truth, it's just weather. And then let it pass. Because the more you practice observing instead of absorbing, the freer you become. The lighter your mind feels, the more space you create for clarity, calm, and the thoughts that actually serve you. The real question isn't whether you'll have difficult thoughts. It's whether you'll give them a seat at the table or just let them pass through the room. Most people don't realize they're not fighting life. They're fighting their own minds. And that's a war you can't win. Because the mind will always produce thoughts. That's its job. But your job isn't to control them. It's to choose which ones deserve your attention and which ones deserve to be released, like smoke into the air. Attachment to outcomes is attachment to suffering. You want the job. You want the relationship to work. You want things to go a certain way, and there's nothing wrong with wanting. But when that want becomes a demand, when you say, it has to be this or I can't be okay, you've just locked yourself in a cage of your own making. Buddhism teaches that suffering comes from clinging, not from desire itself, but from the grip. The tighter you hold, the more it hurts when things shift. And things always shift. That's the nature of life. It moves, it changes, it refuses to stay still no matter how hard you try to freeze it in place. So what's the alternative? Want without needing, hope without demanding. Work toward your goals, but don't collapse when the path bends. Because when you tie your peace to a specific outcome, you're handing your power to something outside yourself. You're saying, I can only be happy if this happens. And that's not freedom. That's conditional living. True peace comes when you can say, I'll do my best, and I'll trust what unfolds. Not because you don't care, but because you care enough about yourself to stay grounded no matter what happens. You're not indifferent. You're resilient. You're not giving up. You're letting go of the illusion that you were ever in total control to begin with. Life will surprise you, sometimes in beautiful ways, sometimes in painful ones. But if you're only open to one specific outcome, you'll miss the gifts hidden in the detours. Suffering often comes from resisting what is. Right now, in this moment, something in your life isn't the way you want it to be. Maybe it's your job. Maybe it's your body. Maybe it's a relationship or a circumstance you can't change. And every day, you resist it. You push against it. You wish it were different. You exhaust yourself trying to mentally escape what's already here. But resistance doesn't change reality. It just makes reality harder to bear. It's like standing in the rain and being angry that you're wet. The rain doesn't care. It's already happening. Your anger doesn't stop it. It just makes you miserable while you're in it. This doesn't mean you accept harmful situations and do nothing. It means you stop fighting the fact that this is where you are right now. You acknowledge it. You feel it. And from that place of acceptance, you decide what to do next. Because clarity comes from acceptance, not resistance. When you stop arguing with reality, you stop wasting energy. You stop the inner war, and suddenly you have space to breathe, to think, to act from a place of calm instead of panic. The Buddha didn't say life would be easy. He said it would be easier when you stop pretending it's supposed to be something other than what it is. Your worth is not negotiable. Somewhere along the way, you started measuring yourself by productivity, by success, by how much you do, how much you achieve, how much you prove. And you forgot the simplest truth. You are valuable simply because you exist. You don't earn your worth. You don't lose it when you fail. It's not given to you by others, and it can't be taken away. It's inherent, unshakable. Yours from the moment you took your first breath. But the world teaches you otherwise. It hands you a scorecard and says, "You're only as good as your last accomplishment." And you believe it. You start performing for approval. You start shrinking when you fall short. You start thinking your value rises and falls with your circumstances. That's the lie that keeps you anxious. That's the belief that makes rest feel like failure and stillness feel like wasting time. Buddhism reminds us, you are not your achievements. You are not your mistakes. You are not the sum of other people's opinions. You are a being of infinite worth, and nothing you do or don't do changes that. When you truly understand this, everything softens. You stop hustling for validation. You stop apologizing for taking up space. You stop measuring yourself against everyone else. You just are. And that's enough. Peace is not found. It's remembered. You've been searching for peace like it's hidden somewhere out there. In the right job, the right relationship, the right amount of money or success or control. And every time you think you're close, it slips away again. That's because peace was never out there to begin with. It's not a destination. It's not a reward for doing everything right. It's already here. It's already within you. You've just forgotten how to access it. Buddhism calls this your true nature. Beneath the thoughts, beneath the fears, beneath the endless doing, there's a stillness, a quiet, a calm that doesn't depend on circumstances. It's been there all along, waiting for you to come home to it. You don't find peace by controlling your life. You find it by returning to yourself, by breathing, by being present, by letting go of the need to fix, force, and figure out everything right now. The searching keeps you restless. The remembering brings you home. So stop looking outside. Stop waiting for life to calm down before you allow yourself to feel calm. It won't. Life will always be moving, but you can be still within it. That's where freedom lives. Not in having everything go your way, but in being okay no matter which way it goes. And when you remember that, really remember it, you stop fighting. You stop forcing. You stop carrying what was never yours to hold. You breathe. You release. You trust. And for the first time in a long time, you feel light. Not because everything is perfect, but because you finally stopped requiring it to be. You've been taught to chase success, chase approval, chase the feeling that one day, finally, everything will fall into place. But what if the real work isn't out there? What if it's been here all along, in the quiet spaces between your thoughts, in the choice to let go instead of grip tighter, in the courage to simply be still? These 7 teachings aren't rules to follow. They're invitations to remember what you already know deep down. That peace isn't earned through perfection, it's accessed through presence. So take what resonates, let the rest fall away, and notice what shifts when you stop fighting life and start flowing with it.